Alrighty, let's do it. Round 3, we have Pinkie Pie versus Cypher as our feature match. We've already seen a little bit of what Pinkie Pie has brought to the table, so we'll see how Cypher or Jordan is going to be able to deal with that, or not deal with that. Alright, good luck everyone, let's do it. I'll take this moment of respite. If you're watching the stream and you're not currently following this channel, please consider following. It helps a lot with my analytics, so I can make sure I know roughly how many people are going to be watching. There's just a little love heart button down below that you can click. And let's get into it. So we've got turn 1 Sewers versus turn 1 Mother of Runes off a scrub land. This is interesting. Mother of Runes is historically quite bad against combo decks. But at the same time, if those combo decks are a bit more fragile and rely on some removal spells to stay on top of the board state, then it's possible that Mother of Runes will kind of just brick a bunch of the removal. Okay, so we followed up turn 1 Sewers with a Consider an Upkeep to get rid of an offer you can't refuse. I assume that was after scrying it to the top and then determining that we didn't want it in this particular matchup, and then a land and an Arkham's. I think, I'm not certain of exactly what color combination and what threat base Jordan is bringing, Cypher is bringing. We'll see what happens. Okay, looks like an Esper dude deck. Jordan correctly observing that he probably needs to put pressure on and just cracking him with Mum. If you've ever played with Mother of Runes, don't forget she has 1 power. She has 1 power specifically so that she can get in the red zone. Okay, so we've got a probe. Pinkie looks like he's trying to sculpt his hand at the moment. We'll see how much of a follow-up there is. Ledger Shred is quite awkward for these blue-based combo decks, because you usually spend a couple of turns playing discard spells and cantrips. So Ledger Shred is a really potent 2-drop for Jordan to have fired off here. It's probably going to start growing and be reasonably threatening quite soon. And the fact that Jordan's creature deck appears to be at least quite blue would suggest that he might have enough counter spells to stave off the combo kills. So we'll see what happens. Probe into Preordain, perhaps looking for a 3rd land, perhaps just digging for intel on the structure of the hand. And Jordan's looted through a prismatic ending. Okay. I think at the moment it's probably 50-50. Deadly Dispute? sacking Astrolabe? That's so sick! Pinkie Pie has registered not only Night's Whisper, but Deadly Dispute? Oh, hell yeah. Alright, alright. We'll see what happens. I mean, he's got a full grip and he's made all his land drops and a treasure token now. So it really depends on how much pressure Jordan can put on from here. If he can fire off like a Thoughtseize and hold up a counterspell, that's quite good. If he can play a really potent threat this turn like White Plume, or maybe something weird like a Lily. Alright, we fired off a Probe, and the hand is Scheming Symmetry, Portent, Opt, Lotus Bloom, Tinker, Besiege the Mirror, and Demonic Council. So there's 4 tutors, 2 cantrips, a Lotus Bloom, and a Tinker. Huh. Alright. Well, Jordan's seen what's up. Whether or not he can do anything about it is a very different question. But he has seen what's up. Cling to Dust on Astrolabe is a little spooky. That probably means he's digging for a Thoughtseize and hoping not to be dead. I mean, this Shredder's massive. It's going to have to win the game by itself, but it is massive. We've got 6 cards in hand. We know our opponent's hand is completely stacked. Did hit the Thoughtseize. That's a big deal. Okay. So probably taking Tinker here. Yeah. And so now it's a bunch of tutors and a Portent and an Opt. And we can crack in for 3 or 4. We know there's no removal spells. It's probably 4. We've got a 3 turn clock. It could be worse. Pinkie's Tinker Citadel deck is so sick. Demonic Council made it in. That's kind of hype. I have been wanting more people to play that card and actually tell me how good it is so that I can, you know, work out whether we need to point it or not. And so far, it's only really been showing up in Breach decks. But this deck is sick. Card is fine pre-board? Yeah. Yeah, I would assume that Demonic Council is just, like, you just side it out, and that's fine. But it is a very, it's kind of like Entomb. It's a very potent shooter. So we know Pinkie's hand is some cantrips. It was a Portent and an Opt. Bunch of tutors. I don't believe he currently has Delirium. I think it's just instant sorcery land. So we need to find a way to get Delirium for Council. Bit awkward. Versus a 3-turn clock. But outside of Tinker, the hand does have a lot of air. So I think Jordan's in a reasonable spot, assuming his hand is functional. If it's full of, like, removal spells, it's probably bad, but he's had 2 loots with Ledger Shredder. One of them been, like, an Odawara, and one been a Tameo, so I assume his hand has some amount of counter magic and maybe another discard spell. So it's probably, like, 65-35 at the moment. Maybe 60-40. Wonder what you do in this spot. You can't really fire off symmetry. I assume he hasn't hit a black land for Beseech. Because I think you just go for it there. Unless you're playing around days. I think you just fire off like Portent and then opt in opponent's end step, take another 4. Oh boy, scheming symmetries on the stack, gang. Hey, Olian. This is blue-black Tinker Citadel versus, as far as I can tell, like Esper dudes, basically. And a scheming symmetry is on the stack. Oh boy, are we gonna Portent to shuffle? I guess so. I guess we have to, right? What are we tutoring for? Scheming symmetry plus Portent's kind of sick. I assume there's like a Thought Scour as well. But the timing's really awkward because of the Shredder, right? So we're just hoping our top card's better? Okay. I kind of have to assume that the symmetry got like a Thoughtseize, right? If you're giving your opponent the chance to tutor and then loot through to the tutor, and you're tutoring and then drawing your card, has to be for like a Thoughtseize, right? Because we know Pinky's hand was a bit light. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So we're hoping this just resolves. I guess we're just hoping that Cypher's tutored card can't beat Black Lotus. Oh, I love Moto. Do you know how often you see Black Lotus combo decks in paper? Because let me tell you, it is not as often as they would be on Moto. This is gas. Like, Pinky's deck is so sweet. Alright. Are we beseeching? Or ritualing first, sure. Are we beseeching? It must be, right? Is Cypher dead? I think he might be. Oh, that gave us Delirium, the Black Lotus. Well, this is getting Yorgo, right? Surely if Cypher doesn't have anything, he's dead here. And if he does have something, he might still be dead here. Looking forward to joining in next week. Yeah, I mean, Fight Night will be on next week. It'll be on Friday. Would love to have you. Okay, so Cypher does have a force in his deck. So he has to force the council. Does he have to force the council? And then we beseech, sacking the thing, getting Yorgwill, casting Lotus, casting Kabaret, casting Council. Oh, the Council won't have Delirium. Oh, it's just Force. Sick. So we know that Cypher must have tutored for one of those forces, but having the other one, that explains a lot of what they were discarding. Alright, Cypher takes game 1 with Force. And the Ledger Shredder who could. That's a lesson, kids. Scheming symmetry. It's is a wacky one. So, yeah, so Pinky knew that he could beat one force if he symmetried, but assumed that he couldn't beat force in hand without casting symmetry to get Lotus. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, post-board, I would assume that Pinky has some amount of removal spells for some of the creatures. Cypher's going to have some amount of counter spells and maybe some discard spells. The fact that he's in white might mean that he has some hate pieces. He might not. So I'm curious to see what both of the players bring to the table for game 2. But that was a really cool game 1. The fact that turn 1 Mother of Runes, turn 2 Ledger Shredder, plus mono interaction versus what is ostensibly a blue-black combo deck with quite a lot of resource management. Like, there are a lot of tutors in Pinky's deck. I imagine it's doing the same thing most games. So we'll see how game 2 plays out. I mean, this is a classic matchup, right? Is like the all-in combo deck versus the idiot Duda deck with like 3 counter spells, and you cross your fingers and hope you draw enough of them to not be dead. I think that was really well played on both parts. I think Pinky recognizing that his timer was far less viable and just going for it there, especially when Cypher's tapped out. I think that's very respectable. Alright, game 2. We are underway. Pinky gets the play. Small chance that Cypher just, like, dies on turn 2, which is sick. We'll see what happens. I mean, having a Lotus in your deck to go with your Tinker and your Citadel, and your Yorgwill and your LED, this deck's so sick. None of this A plus B combo. What about 7 card combos that win the game through 3 pieces of interaction? I love it. And then we have the honest Esper dude deck on the other side. Now, honest is a bit of a stretch. Getting 2 forces in a format. Alright, bit of wheel spinning. I expect things to kick off on turn 3 or so. Unless Jordan dies now. That's a good one. Wow, he might just die. If this brainstorm is premium, we might be going to game 3. I'm crossing my fingers. I haven't seen a turn 2 kill in Highlander in a hot minute. It's like really hard to do that in this format. The worst would be if we're brainstorm locked. Okay. Brainstorm locked without a second land is quite bad. No pressure though. Okay. Pinky turned 2 to be 2 games in a row last round. That's a rough go, Varks. I mean, I did notice that your match finished in like 10, 12 minutes, and I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, someone got blown up. Okay, we've got a portent. We're going to be able to unbrainstorm lock ourselves. Unfortunately, portent does not draw a card immediately, so odds are Pinky is missing another land drop here. Whether or not that's manageable kind of depends on how much pressure Jordan can apply here. If Jordan plays like, a random creature, like a Fairy Mastermind or a Bowmasters, that's fine. If he fills up his graveyard and plays a really cheap threat and can hold up counter magic, like a Tameo or a Nethergoyf, that's going to be more problematic. So Pinky is very low on mana, very high on cards, and Cypher has still applied 0 pressure. No discard spells, no creatures. I would say Pinky is fairly poised to win this game then. Okay. Inquisition, have to cast Opposition Agent to beat Inquisition, which means you don't get the fetch. We'll see what the Inquisition hits. I mean, we have a 3-power creature now. Any 8 points in the 16? Yes, there were 8-point decks. I think it was 2? Maybe 1? It was non-zero. It was not many. The thing is, because this is a Moto event and dual lands cost 6 ticks instead of $1,000, people are more inclined to play 7-point decks. In the future, I will try to have an 8-point prize. The events will have to get bigger and we'll have to get more sponsors in order to facilitate that. But I think it would be cool if people were bringing decks to these events that they can actually play in paper. Alright, Inquisition is resolving. We see Verdant Catacombs presenting Odawara, Unearth, Sink into Stupor, and Plow. And we've taken the Unearth. So presumably we've taken the Unearth so that when we blow up the Opposition Agent, it's actually gone. And now Jordan's just on Kraken for 3 and hope to draw more interaction or more threats. It's a reasonable game plan. Do you blow up this Arkham's Astrolabe? You kind of have to, right? Oh, I guess you're safe from Tinker. You don't have to. This way you can surveil and hold up Sink into Stupor. Oh, Deadly Dispute? Deadly Dispute sacking Astrolabe? We're going to have to go to cleanup if that's the case. Gang, that is the second Night's Whisper on stream. It is 2024. I love this game. I love this game so much. You want an honest card? That right there is an honest card. To the point that we're playing Cancel. Oh boyo. We are gaming out here. And there is a chance Jordan is dead? No, we're playing the pedal to not get a cleanup. Okay. Yeah, we are almost in 2025. This format is so special to me because you can really just do whatever you like and it's so hard to be punished. It's good, honest magic. We had Tarmogoyf in play. Do you guys remember Tarmogoyf? Just that 1 in a green creature that has no text? What a time. Alright, so we're getting in our second crack for 3. We did hit a discard spell. Okay. And it sees Night's Whisper, Tameo, Tinker, Baleful Strick, Mentor, Serum Visions, and Grim Monolith. Pinky has a Mentor in hand. Oh, hell yeah. So he was casting Whisper to hit a land drop. I mean, he doesn't have any lands. He just has a bunch of random spells that are all quite good. And then Tinker, which has no text at the moment. But did get taken despite the opposition agent, because obviously if Pinky just draws a removal spell, we could be dead. Last we checked in, Jordan's hand was pretty light. So I think he's had one draw step to find something meaningful. Because the Inquisition was one of the draw steps, and then there was another draw step after the discard spell. So I think he has one unknown. I think it's like Plow, Odawara, and Presending. And then one unknown. Oh, is the unknown Snapcaster? Are we casting Preordain or Inquisition? Inquisition, we're just going to rip the hand apart. Okay, I'm down. I'm down. What are we taking, though? We know the hand. Night's Whisper, Tameo, Baleful Strix, Mentor, Serum Vision, Grim Monolith. I mean, no matter what you take with Inquisition here, there is a decent chance you are just dead off the top. So do you take the big creature that's threatening to wall out your idiot creatures? Or do you take the cards that draw cards, like Night's Whisper, and try to hope that they have to just play to the board and then you can plow everything? This is going to be an interesting spot. We took the Whisper. Okay, so we're on the game plan of if Pinky has to spend resources on creatures, I bank on winning. And if he spends resources on drawing cards, I might just die. So we're taking Whisper. I'm on board. I wonder if this will work. I guess we'll find out. So we're reaching a critical mass of pressure. Cypher has 5 power in play now versus 13 life. And Pinky does have a bunch of premium things to play, like Tameo and Baleful Strix. But otherwise the hand's quite airy because it's been ripped apart by 2 Inquisitions. So I think I like Jordan's side of things. But I think it's close. I think it's like 50-50, 55-45 at the moment. It really depends on what Pinky can draw here. Because if he draws any Haymakers, he's still going to need multiple bits. Like, his hand isn't sculpted where he can just draw Lotus or draw Yorgwill. He has to hit multiple bits of cardboard that have text. And Cypher has a bunch of live draws. We know his hand is incredibly light at the moment. It has like a Presending and a Swords to Plowshares, and that's kind of it. But he does have the initiative. He does have the pressure. Do we just die to Mentor? Oh, wow, we drew a Brainstorm. Okay. That's a good one. So prior to the Brainstorm, it was like Odawara, Plow, and Presending. And now it is any 3 cards. Okay, that's pretty good. Whether that wins or not is in flux, but that's pretty good. The Brainstorm to 1 pointers. Y'all are feasting today. We have seen Brainstorm bail a bunch of people out today. Well, he's found some stuff. Because this brainstorm's taking a while to resolve. He's found an amount of stuff. And a shuffle. Okay. Shuffle's a big deal here. Plow the Tamio, crack in. 2 turns to go. So Cypher has 2 cards, Pinky has 6. We know about 4 of them? 3 of them? It's like a Grim Monolith, a Mentor, a Strix. The Wisp is gone, the Tink is gone, the Serum Vision's gone. I think that's it. I don't think we know anything else. So if we play the Strix to block, that's one thing. Oh, we're just playing Grim Monolith and hoping to kill next turn? I'm in. Ship it. If this resolves and the next spell resolves, decent chance that the game is over. What is this? Just make a 3/3? Okay. Well, if this resolves, we've got the ground game blocked out, and we know the plow's gone. The prismatic ending is still, in theory, floating around. And the Grim Monolith is tapped now, and the Petal's gone. Ugh. Assuming... Okay. 4/4 is a big deal. Means you actually have to deal with it. And a Ponder. This board state got so fucking wild so quickly. Prior to this, Pinky had 2 lands, an Astrolabe, and a Petal. And now he has a 4/4, a 1/4, and a bunch of random stuff. Okay. Okay. And he did not shuffle, and he found a Saga. Oh boy, oh. This got real hairy real quick. Assuming that Jordan has kept, like, the prismatic ending, he still can't get in. Because Snapcaster gets blocked by Urza. You get in 3 damage, or it just blocks opposition and get 2 damage in. This got real messy real quick. The whole blue-black Tinker deck's backup plan of just playing Urza and an Urza Saga, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Alright, so the Construct's getting endinged here, presumably. And then we still can't attack. Can't really do anything. Oh, we're pending the Urza? No, we don't have the colors for that. Are we just casting like an Oculus or something? That'd be pretty good. Oh yeah, it's an Oculus. Okay. That's dead in 2 turns. And last we checked in, Pinky does not have a removal spell in hand. And we've seen a bunch of fresh draws, so... Well, let's see what happens. I think we've reached a stage where Pinky has a lot more live draws than they did previously. Like, Lotus still doesn't really do anything on this board state. But there's like a really big Yorgwill available. Like a value Yorgwill. You can get Bauble ×2, Petal ×1, play a fetch, play a cantrip. Alright, so Duress is going to presumably see pending plus something, force negation, which can't be cast. So we played Oculus, opting to forego the force negation, because Pinky was light on resources. So we're really condensing the game state down and hoping to win the game in 2 turns with Eyeball, basically. Very interested to see what happens here. I don't think Saga can get anything through Opposition Agent. That's just gonna, like, naturally win Cypher the game here. Making a construct at sorcery speed, which presumably means we're using it for mana. Sure. So playing Strix to block the Oculus, and then just hoping not to die on the ground. I mean, we know Jordan has a force negation and nothing else. Is it possible that this manifest is going to matter? I mean, it probably is. If the manifest is a creature, it's almost certainly going to matter. And this will get like an archive or something. Okay. Well, let's see it. So if we find a removal spell for Strix, dead on the spot. If we don't, gonna have to find something off the Saga that matters. I don't know what Cypher can get with Pinky Saga that actually matters. This attack is wild. I assume there's like an Unearth? Right? Has to be some kind of reanimation effect. Has to be, right? And then you cast... Nope. Could have been a bluff attack. Could have been a couple of things. Alright, so this is the critical turn. If Saga can get something that Cypher can use to win the game, that's going to be a big deal. If Pinky can win through a single force, that's obviously going to be a big deal. He has 2 massive constructs. So if he can clear enough of the board, there's probably lethal available. Or at least putting Cypher into the abyss. I guess you just get like a Lotus. Oh, there's probably like a top, right? Time is a ticking down. 7.5 minutes versus 8 minutes in game 2 as well. That's going to be important. Or it might be important, I should say. Yeah, this is only game 2. Well, actually, both games were very intricate, where they both just, like, ripped each other's hands apart. And a bunch of stuff happened. So the Lotus is gone. And we're going to eat some of this board. Do you just chump one and take the other? I guess so. You can't double block here. I think it's possible that we're going to have to spin with Urza. if we have a land. But we also need to leave enough constructs in play to block. And this is on the assumption that Strix lives. And we know that Cypher has a force negation, so Pinky has to play around that where possible. So spinning with Urza might not even be good enough, especially if it gets rid of a blocker. He's taking it. He's going to 1. I can respect that. Raw Dog Tendrils? For lethal? That would be sick. But I don't think there have been any spells on this stack. I think Storm's 0. So Raw Dog Tendrils doesn't do it. Yeah, we're just going to say go. And we're going to flip up a Manifest. Does that have any targets as a Snapcaster? It's kind of a big deal. Actually, that's a really big deal. Is that lethal? It's lethal if Pinky doesn't have anything? I think Cypher's seen it. Let's see what happens, chat. Okay. He did say it. So I think the out is spin Urza and hit something that can't be force negationed. I don't even know what it could be. But otherwise dead. The combat stop doesn't actually matter here. Assuming, like, we know Pinky's hand. He can't spin. Should be dead. Eyeball, simply too big. GG's. Cypher wins 2-0 versus Pinky in the Esper Dudes deck versus Blue Black Citadel. Very cool.